So, being that we are moving through, I shall. Being that we are moving through Black History Month, I decided to bring a bit of my own Black history with me. So, I'm going to read a poem by an amazing inventor by the name of Lewis Howard Latimer. He is the one who invented the filament of the light bulb. He is the one who designed the patent for Alexander Graham Bell for the telephone. He invented the air brakes on the train and a myriad of other things and was the first Black Edison. He was also my great uncle. And on his 88th birthday, there were 100 books of his poetry that were published and given to family members. And so with every feature I do, I debut another poem that's never been heard in public. So this is a quick, short one of his entitled Love Is All. What is there in the world besides our love to keep us here? Ambition's course is paved with hopes deferred, with doubt and fear. Wealth brings no joy, and brazen-throated fame leaves us at last. Not but an empty name, O soul, receive the truth, ere heaven sends their call. Not here deserves our thoughts but love, for love is all.
Your name, please, and where you're from?
Marcel Saeed and Portland, Oregon.
So tell me, what does this event represent for you this evening?
I think it represents sort of recognizing the influence of LGBT people in the history making of Black people. When I moved to San Francisco, I thought it was really unique that an event like this does take place during Black History Month and celebrating sort of the LGBT influence that we've had in the Black community. And so I think recognizing sort of past heroes and current heroes in the community is, yeah.
And how does that influence you throughout your daily existence?
I think it's remarkable that something like this exists. For me, it's inspiring. It also sort of forces me to recognize that people have come before me. I think sometimes, for me, I get caught up in the day-to-day of my life and my ambitions and struggles and whatever, and to know that there are people who had less resources to work with in general and were able to make it happen, who were, for me, transgender, but also the gay and lesbian influence is huge as well, so yeah.
And when did you discover your voice of who you were as transgender?
When I was 17, and I transitioned in high school. That was huge, I guess. I went to a Jesuit school. I'm from Oregon, so I was the only Black kid in my grade at my school. So being able to sort of live authentically, but also be bold and courageous, I guess. But yeah, that's what I knew.
Did you have any role models, either within your immediate environment or beyond, that helped you? Or was there someone that helped you walk across the street, so to speak?
Honestly, I didn't have any. I mean, I grew up Church of God of Christ, and my dad is a bishop. So my interactions, I guess, I didn't have any role models per se. A lot of the Black gay men that I came across in my church were very a different sect and a different belief about their sexuality, whereas my issue was a gender issue. I transitioned around the time Isis King was on America's Next Top Model, and that sort of role model that I could do it and I could be pretty, which was something important to me, considering when I did research it, a lot of the people were white and older, and that wasn't my experience. So, yeah.
And what do you say to the young folks that are trailing behind us? What do you say to them that are going to go through exactly what you went through? What do you say to them? What would you like to say to them?
Oh gosh, that's such a weird thing. What I would say to those coming behind me, I think just know who you are, know thyself, right? I think there's a reason why that saying has stuck around for so long, and it's very true. I think once you realize who you are, don't compromise that. I just think of it as like when we're little kids, we know who we are. It's not until we're socialized into society that we're taught this is right, this is wrong, this is etc. But at our core is our consciousness, and I think just listening to that voice and being willing to stand up for what you believe in and not compromise that.
Wonderful. Your name, please, and where you're from?
Marcel, and I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Your name and where you're from, please?
I am Byron Mason, and I'm from Oakland, California.
So tell me, we are at Generations Black here at the African American Art and Cultural Complex in San Francisco. What does this event represent to you?
Well, it's so great to see so many people from the Black LGBT community come out, and one, come out in a celebratory manner, two, to kind of learn about Black LGBT history, spanning back to, pre-Christ. There's been African American or Black LGBT history represented. It's amazing to see how far back our history spans. And then also, all of the service organizations that are organizing this event. A lot of the health service organizations, so promoting health is a big a goal of this event as well. It's just really great to see the span of our community.
And where do you think we are on a national level, on a state level, on a local level, with the age of Obama, the age of information, the age where people are fighting to be themselves? Where do you think we are?
Wow, that's complex, I think.
Sure.
Well, one, I think, in terms of Black LGBT issues, one, HIV/AIDS is still a very big issue in the Black LGBT community, and you don't see too much. You don't hear about HIV so much these days. Everything, in terms of the gay community, we talk about marriage equality. We talk about gays in the military, and those things are very important as well. But, a lot of people in this community are very, very impacted by HIV/AIDS, and it would be nice to see some of those issues come back to the forefront as well, because it is a very epidemic. It's a big epidemic in our community as well.
And what do you think the gap is? What do you think is repressing that information? What do you think is keeping that general epidemic, as you just said, out for the world to know, for the general person to at least be aware of?
Well, that's a good question too. I think visibility, one, I think a lot of the responsibility lies with us, and that making sure that the issues of our community, what's important to us, doesn't fall off the radar screen. I think certainly having allies is really important as well. Personally, I think that's an issue that I think we could do a little better at. We look around the room tonight, and it's great to see so many brown faces, but it'd be great to see, people from other communities as well supporting us and coming out to learn about our history and what we've contributed to our society as well. I think no revolution is successful without allies. And so I would love to see more bridge building and other people from diverse backgrounds be a part of this as well.
And where are you personally with all that you just said, all that is going on in our general environment? Where are you personally, and how do you express yourself?
Well, I try and keep myself positive with all the negative things that are going on, our economy, our job situation, our war situations, what's happening in other countries. But again, it's good to kind of come to be in an environment like this and be able to celebrate, to meet new people, to see old friends. Also, personally, I work in the field of HIV/AIDS, and so, I'm out at a lot of community events, trying to make people aware of that the issue is still very important, how it's affecting our community, why funding is still important, why research is still important, very much important as well. So, I'm still on the front lines as well myself.
Wonderful. And your name and where you're from?
Byron Mason, and I'm from Oakland, California.
Thank you. May I ask your name, please, and where you're from?
Miss Billy Cooper, and I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and you reside?
In San Francisco.
Wonderful. And tell me, what is significant about this event that we're celebrating at the African American Art and Cultural Complex?
I am so happy and elated that this month, 2014, February, that we're celebrating the African American LBGT queer questioning community here tonight, and it does my heart good to see so many wonderful people and to see a outpouring of trans people.
Today we celebrate so much in America. So where are you personally, and how do you celebrate your individuality, your freedom in the state that we're in right now?
Well, I have taken my power back, and today I'm the woman that I'm supposed to be, and I'm not taking no prisoners, and sisters are doing it for themselves, and it's all about respect, and it's all about individuality, and it's all about community. And I am once again so happy to see you and to be a part of this wonderful affair.
Wonderful. And your name and where you're from?
Miss Billy Cooper, San Francisco.
Go on, girl. Your name, please, and where you're from?
Havari Wilson, Oakland, California.
And tell me, what does this event mean to you, the generations of LGBT queer individuals in San Francisco, where we are right now?
Well, it means a lot to me for a number of reasons. This is Black History Month, and we don't oftentimes highlight the experiences and the struggle and the contributions that African America has made from an LGBT perspective. So this gives us a platform, this venue, and allow us to be able to honor those who came before us, honor those who are with us now, and honor those and just paying homage to those who have paved the way for us to be here today. So this is a very important event, and I'm thrilled and happy that it's taking place and I'm a part of it.
And where do you think we are in the nation based on everything that you said right now? What is the tone of the nation based on being queer and brown in the age of Obama? What does that mean for us as citizens of America?
Things are changing. You have a lot of artists, a lot of international artists, a lot of local artists, sports authorities that are coming out, being openly gay, that are of color. It gives me hope and inspiration, and I'm proud to be a Black gay man in America. So I'm thrilled that I think the landscape, the tone, everything is changing, and people are recognizing that we are here. We are to be respected, not just tolerated, but to be respected and loved and appreciated for the contribution that we have been making. And I think that it's more to come.
And where are you personally, based on what you just said? As you walk through your life, through your day, through your experience, where are you personally, based on everything that you just said?
I'm proud. I'm in the trenches fighting for my Black brothers and sisters who are LGBT and transgender. I see the contribution that we're making. I see our struggles, our plight. I am just proud to be here in this day and time, and just being able to stand firm in who I am and loving myself and make sure that other people don't be afraid. You're not alone. I've gone through a lot. We've all gone through a lot. Let's stand together and make some great things happen. But again, that's a very good question. But I'm in a good place. I love myself. I love my people. I want to make sure that I am paving the way for those who are coming after me to stand up and stand strong and be proud.
And can you share an ounce of recommendation, an ounce of wisdom that allowed you to say exactly what you're saying right now?
Spiritual. I mean, I'm very grounded in my spiritual belief, God, knowing that I am a child of God, knowing that He loves me regardless, no matter what people may say about me or have said about me. I know that I am great, I know that I am beautiful, and I know that I have a lot to give. So I stand and believe that, and I practice that on a day-to-day basis, and I want to be able to impart that onto people that I come in contact with. Just loving myself and loving yourself.
Wonderful. And your name and where you're from?
Havari Wilson, Oakland, California.
And the reason they can, in a way, is that they must. It's got to come out somehow. It's got to come out somehow, you know? And the pressure is great enough that it comes out in a certain kind of... Negroes have great style. And I can say that. I think this is true, even though it sounds chauvinistic, because white people don't have much style. And the reason that Negroes have a certain kind of style is that they are aware of the conditions of their lives. They can't fool themselves about it, you know? So when a Negro laughs, or tries to make love, or eats, or dances, it's a kind of total action. And I don't mean that in the way that white liberals really think I'm going to mean it. That they're more sensual, more primitive, more spontaneous, and all that ethnic jazz. No, I mean that they live their lives on a different level of experience that doesn't allow as much room for make-believe as white people have. Every black man knows something about American white men. That they are in the grip of the most extraordinary sexual paranoia. They really are. And where that comes from is a story that probably belongs to another time and place. And in any case, it's such a long and terrible story, so complicated, that one couldn't even begin to discuss it, except by examining such things as, well, reread Huckleberry Finn, reread William Faulkner. The arrangement between black and white men in this country is extraordinary. At once, there's something real in it, a terrifying invention in it. And it goes all the way back to since the first American began writing. And it's got something to do with the Indians. If one could really crack that nut, really open that can of beans, then one could find out, and white people have to do this, Negroes cannot do this, what a Negro means to a white man. I don't mean in terms of signing petitions or walking between picket signs. I mean what he really means. Why are you so afraid of him? That's what it comes down to. If one could begin to examine that, then one could begin to do what is really quite a simple matter, relatively speaking. That is to say, if I could begin to examine that, then the mystery of the housing situation in San Francisco would not be a mystery, because it is based on that. And it is based on all the lies that Americans tell themselves, all the evasions that Americans give themselves, based on some fantastic escape, first from Europe, then from the Indians, and now, spectacularly, from me. It's insane.
May I ask your name, please, and where you're from?
My name is Mona Webb, and I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but I live in Oakland now.
So tell me, we're at the African American Art and Cultural Complex celebrating Black queer life. So what does this event mean to you?
Well, I mean, it's nice to chronicle the journey of the African American or the those from the African diaspora's experience in this country, you know, of queer life, what it means in San Francisco and the Bay Area. But I like to talk a lot about what that experience looks like in the South, because that's what I grew up in. I think it's an important conversation, and that there need to be a lot more of them. I think oftentimes we look at the disparities in our community, but oftentimes we're not asked for solutions. We're only seen as problems to be remedied. And so it's good when we get opportunities to come together and have conversations about our issues, our struggles, our successes, and our joys. amongst ourselves and are able to celebrate ourselves. So I love this kind of an event. You know, this is a unique experience that not everybody has the privilege of having. Where I come from, this would not be something as well publicized or as well known or as well received. So yeah, I always remember that it's an honor and blessing, and you know what I get to live amongst here in the San Francisco Bay Area.
And what do you think we are as a nation? Where do you think we are as a state, as a city, as a neighborhood, based on our ability to be ourselves?
Well, I think there's still a lot of stigma in the African American community around homosexuality, and so I think that we face a different set of challenges that is specific to our community. But as it concerns the societal experience of the Bay Area being openly queer, it's not nearly as hard to me as it is where I do acknowledge that there are problems and there are issues here, but it's nothing in comparison to, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or, places in the real deep South where nobody wants to hear anything about you being black or queer, nor open. So,
And where are you personally? Where are you personally with your own light, with your own self-expression?
I'm pretty loud. I'm the executive director of the Eden Foundation, which provides scholarships and initiatives for queer youth in the Bay Area. I host for Eden, which is the queer women's events. I host the women's stage for San Francisco Pride. I'm a performance artist and performance poet. A lot of my work, that is one thing that I think is changing for me, is that my work is beginning to depict more of queer life for women of color. I think that's the only thing that's kind of changed or opened up a little bit more for me. Other than that, I'm pretty loud in my living.
And tell me, what would you say to our little sisters who are 15, 13, 12, who are just discovering who they are, where you come from in Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
Oh. When you grow up, you can move. Well, no, I would just say be strong, be out, be loud, be proud, be brave, and know that just you is enough.
Right. And your name, please, and where you're from.
My name is Mona Webb fondly, and I live in Oakland, California, but I'm from Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Wonderful, thank you. That's great.
Ailey's legacy to the LGBT community was one of innovator, pioneer, provocateur. He worked quietly against homophobia in the African American community and sought to combat the many faces of racism. He died on December 1st, 1989. The last biography I'm going to bring into the room for the night is Lorraine Sade Baskerville. Lorraine Sade Baskerville is a lifelong resident of Chicago and was the eldest of 7 children born into modest family circumstances. In her community activist career, Baskerville has served on the board of Test Positive Aware Network, TPAN, in the Chicago HIV Prevention Planning Group, and in the Chicago Police Department's 23rd District Gay and Lesbian Advisory Group. In 1997, Baskerville received the Greater Chicago Committee's first Georgia Black Award for service to the transgender community. She chaired the Youth Events Committee for the Chicago Black Pride 2000 Conference.
May I ask your name, please, and where you're from?
Andrea Jackson from San Diego.
And tell me, what does this event, Generations of Black Queer Folk, represent for you?
For me, it represents paying homage to all those that came before us and that paved the way so we could be visible and that we could be represented in larger society.
And what do you think we are, what's your opinion on where we are as a nation, as a group of people when it comes to queer individuals, and particularly queer individuals of color?
Okay, so I feel that as far as a societal integration of people of color that identify along the sexual spectrum from different, whatever that may be, I think socially it's this big assimilation process. So with that said, it's just meaning that as people become assimilated into larger culture and they have a voice and a say, that it's good, but at the same time too, we have to remain rooted in where we came from. So that whole idea of Sankofa, that the process to get there was not easy, and how we shouldn't just sell out for any kind of material gains, right? Like it's when, like for instance, in 2013 we saw the passing of gay marriage, you know, but at the same time too, there was a revocation of voting rights, right, simultaneously. And so it's just like, even though you may make one step forward, there's always a price to be paid, and gay marriage doesn't always mean anything for people that are left still out on the margins. So, yeah.
And where are you personally with all that you just said? How did you find your own light? How do you maintain your own light throughout your daily existence?
Finding my own light and maintaining my own light. I think finding my own light comes from identifying as queer, and identifying as queer meaning that it's not only an orientation of sexuality, but it's also an orientation of lifestyle. And particularly in honor of Audre Lorde's birthday that just took place right now, reading her biography, Warrior Poet, and how in the 70s and the 60s and when she was coming up, like very living this alternative lifestyle, you know, and like owning that. And so, yeah.
Okay. And your name, please, and where you're from?
Andrea Jackson, San Diego, California.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your name, please, and where you're from?
Jeremy Miller. I stay in the Bayview in San Francisco, 3rd Street.
So tell me, what does this event mean to you tonight?
It's extraordinary, very inspiring. It's intersectional black culture that, given historical mores and whatnot, gets doubly, triply, sometimes marginalized, and doesn't get to see the light of day as much. A lot of the more more heterosexual images of black sex, black life, black politics, and yet it absolutely needs to be presented because it's a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful piece of our culture. It's a beautiful culture of its own, even taken individually away from the greater black African culture. And I'm really proud and honored to be here around so many amazing people that are living and swinging. It's great.
Wonderful. And what do you think we are? What is the climate with the climate, the temperature, the pulse, the reality of where we are as a black culture, where we are as a black queer culture, where we are as just a dynamic culture?
Well, creatively, spiritually, black queer culture is alive and well, creating love and beauty all over the world. Also, all over the world, in some places worse than others, it's still heavily demonized and criminalized. We heard earlier some commentary about Uganda, Kenya, to name a few hot spots where it's really rough being queer. And it's still rough in a lot of ways here, even in a place like San Francisco, where allegedly it's the queer mecca, as it were, or whatever. It's still rough a lot of the time. There's still a lot of structural and hidden discrimination, as well as overt, that happens that kind of gets elided over because of the reputation. And I think it's important to recognize that the struggle continues, and that you know, human beings come in many different varieties, many beautiful ways, and many new ways every year, you know, and and there ain't no right way, there ain't no wrong way, and there's more than two ways. And it's really beautiful to be here in a room of love like this tonight, celebrating that reality.
One of the comments that I hear generally in sub-communities is that the struggle continues. When will the living begin?
I've never understood living to be separated from struggle. Maybe that's just being black. If there is a separation and evolution that breaks off where we can just live and not struggle, I hope to see that day. I truly do, to the bottom of my heart. And until then, we may struggle with life, but it's better to live in the struggle. It's better to you know, you shine whether or not you fight to shine. I mean, that's the best way to put it. You fight whether or not, you know, you shine whether or not you fight to shine, but if you fight to shine, more people see.
Wonderful. And what is the light that guides you on a daily basis, on a personal level? Tell me about your light, your energy, your vibe, your pulse, your heartbeat on a daily basis. What keeps you, Jeremy?
Love and music. Love and music. Simple as that. You know, these are the things that you know, these are the things that make me happy, keep me going, and I don't have to look hard for it. You know, I really don't have to look hard for it, because with all the bullshit going on, it's still always there.
Yeah. Thank you. And your name, please, and where you're from?
Jeremy Miller.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. And on behalf of the BBE program and the Generation Experience, I'd like to welcome and thank everybody for participating in this night event. So thank you all. Now, in recognition of their ongoing and sustainable commitment to the Black LGBT community and the San Francisco Bay Area and beyond, Generation 2014 Black LGBT History Experience gives this organization, is proudly to give this organization award to the City of Refuge in their appreciation of their service, dedication, and commitment to supporting and empowering our stories and experience in a significant and meaningful way. So we have the honor of having Bishop Yvette Flonder here with us today.
First of all, let me say on behalf of City of Refuge, United Church of Christ, and also the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries, over which I preside as bishop, I deeply appreciate your thoughtfulness and recognition of our work. We are 22 years old now. We founded our ministry 22 years ago when it was very dangerous to say out of the gate that we are LGBT people and LGBT people of faith, particularly because most of us were emerging from the Methodist traditions and not well received in our families and in the culture of church. We've become a much broader faith community since that time, but I must say that it has been a journey. And there are two things I'd like to say to you from our churches in the United States. We have churches on the continent of Africa, in Mexico, and now 14 churches in Asia. All either LGBT-led or led by someone who is affirming of LGBT people. And this is a great blessing. I want to say this to you. I want to welcome you to one of the better books that I've ever read. It's called Boy, Wives, and Female Husbands, a study of African sexuality. Because it's important that we are able to debunk the myth that we caught homosexuality as a contagious disease from European colonials. We got to get that and really understand the deep truth of what exists in the history of African people before we were colonized. It's very important because right now we are creating space for sisters and brothers from Cameroon, from Uganda, from Nigeria, and Kenya who are running for their lives. And the fact that African people are being killed by African people because they are homosexual saddens me more than anything I can even explain to you tonight. I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it because I cannot imagine. And I also cannot imagine that we would not get together and care enough to do something tangible about this. We have to do something tangible about this. If it begins with giving people asylum, giving people cover, giving people comfort, then that's what we have to do. But even more than that, we need to make some noise. We have the political acumen and the strength to make some noise. Not just because people are being injured, but because the cases of HIV, which were under control for a long time in Uganda, are now going up substantially because people are being driven undercover again. And I want to say to you, sisters and brothers, it's okay to be happy about what is happening in the United States, but you know what? When you've been healed, you have to heal. And when you've been helped, you're obligated to help. Somebody in recovery knows what I'm talking about. If you're going to stay clean, you got to give back. Am I right? And if we are going to really do the work, if we are truly grateful for the opportunities, it's not all what we want it to be, but look at this space. Look at what we can be. We've got to care about our brothers and sisters. I'm leaving next week to go to the continent. And there are some things that we will have to do and say. And for the first time in a long time, I realize I am in harm's way. It's been a long time since I felt that way. Last time I really felt it was when I came out in the Pentecostal church. That was a dangerous thing to do. Very dangerous. Anybody understand what I'm saying? I know I'm taking up too much time, but I want to say this to you. It's important that you hear my heart. Those are our sisters and our brothers. I have a very good friend, Rizzi Timani, born a female, and she is a female-to-male transgender gospel singer who was subjected to corrective rape in Nigeria. I can't even, with my children here, begin to say to you what all happened to her. But I can say to you that it was perpetrated by African men, black African men. That is a tragedy. It is a tragedy. And we have to do what we have to do to make some noise. So use those social networks. Use every opportunity, every way that you can. Educate yourself. Please buy Boy, Wives, and Female Husbands. Roscoe Murray's book is an incredibly great study in sexuality in Africa. And then let's debunk these theories and let's help our people. There is a Christianity being exported from this country. You got to hear me before I sit down. I'm a preacher, and you know how preachers are. But there is a Christianity being exported from this country because it didn't work in this country. You are the example of what happened to it trying to work in this country. You have found spiritual paths, many of you, in spite of what people said about you. So I want to encourage you. We've got to make some changes. Please get busy. Tell your neighbor, get busy. It's time to bring life. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ask your name, please, and where you're from.
Anthony Julius Williams, San Francisco.
And tell me, we are at the African American Art and Cultural Complex celebrating Generations Black.
Yes.
So what is your contributions this evening?
I am going to be performing a monologue from the PBS documentary about James Baldwin called Take This Hammer. Back in 1963, PBS invited James Baldwin to come to San Francisco to talk about issues of urban renewal and the black youth crisis. It's a really remarkable film because everything that James Baldwin was saying back then is still very much relevant today. So I'm very honored to channel James Baldwin for this celebration of black LGBT history.
Wonderful. On a personal note, where do you think we are as a black queer culture?
I think we've come, a long way. More and more people feel comfortable, coming out. There's been really exciting developments with, the football player who came out recently and all that. But clearly, we still have a long way to go. We have many challenges to deal with. And certainly, HIV/AIDS is probably, first, among them. But it's always been what it's always been for Black folk. We're survivors. We need to love ourselves better, but we also know how to love ourselves better. So it's just a matter of reminding ourselves of who we are, which is why it's so important to be doing events like this, to celebrate the many fabulous people who have done so much to ensure Black people's survival and Black LGBT community's survival.
And where are you personally?
Where am I personally? Well, right now I'm just really super excited to be, part of this event. I feel like struggles that I have going on, or whether or not to stay, in the city, because there have been all these, changes, recently, and I'm not so sure I'm really cool, with all the changes, the direction that the city is going in. But at the same time, when you come to events like this, it makes you want to stay. It makes you want to fight. It makes you want to continue the struggle to, ensure that, Black people continue to be what they've always been, which is a very vibrant part of San Francisco history.
Wonderful. Your name and where you're from again?
Anthony Julius Williams, and I'm from San Francisco.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Your name, sir, and where you're from?
My name is Ernest Andrews, and I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, but I've been in the Bay Area for 30 years.
Wonderful. And tell me what this event means to you as it comes to a close for the evening.
Well, actually was one of the first Black AIDS activists in the state of California. Back in 1981, I began with the AIDS Health Project. And at that particular time, they didn't want to hear that Black people were at risk for this disease. So it was a struggle. So to see the evolution move forward and to see that we are able to pull together and do something of this magnitude, it's amazing. I feel very good and warm inside about the whole thing.
Wonderful. And where are we today based on your history, based on your personal history, your professional history? Where are we today with the plight of AIDS, the plight of acceptance, the plight of safety for individuals to just be themselves?
Well, I feel we still have a major road to overcome. I would hope, or at least I hoped back then, that when we got the word out early, when the statistics were very low, we only represented like 12% of the AIDS population back in the 80s, and to know that we are above 54% now. Some may see that as a setback, but we have to consider all the other things that are involved in being able to hold the Black community down. But I have seen a major progress in relationship to gay rights in the country, and the attitudes, even though you can still go to some states and they haven't budged at all. But I've watched the Bay Area grow, and I've watched the San Francisco LGBT community grow, even though the numbers of African Americans have diminished. So it has been. I think I'm hopeful for the future. I'm concerned about our African brothers abroad and what we plan to do about that, or at least do some kind of protesting and have our voices be heard, because that's outrageous. And just like that could happen there, it could happen here, because they've got those Christian zealots here too, and that's why it's like that there, because they left here and went over there. So like I said, I'm hopeful. I have a lot of faith in the younger generation, because they do not see the struggles that we went through. So they're not held back by those things. And so I just know that the future is bright.
Wonderful. And can you share some insight on your challenges, your enlightenment to allow you to be who you are today?
I would say, when I came to the Bay Area in 1980, I was in a marriage, I had gotten divorced, and I came here to be with a man, a lover. That didn't work out, but I've been with a man for 19 years now, and we got married 5 years ago, and that has just been the blessing in my life. It's been a wonderful experience, and connected with that, out of the AIDS epidemic came a lot of organizations like the Circle of Friends in Oakland, and those organizations are continuing to grow, bring more talent into the struggle, and using the talent to uplift the entire population, not just the LGBT community, but the entire African American community. So I'm glad that I was able to play a part, and I just hope that folks don't forget that there were people before the people who are here now.
Sure. I think that's what this night was about, basically,
that's what
right?
This night is about, right?
To look back, look where we are, and to look forward.
And look forward, that's right. And I hope that we continue to do that. And never forget where we've come from, because that's the only way you'll know where you're going.
Wonderful. And your name, please, and where you're from?
Ernest Andrews, and I'm from Concord, California.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
With that said, I'm going to start with a piece entitled Color Complex. Internalized racism is real. This poem is for my high school students who hated everything about themselves that made them black people and wouldn't let go of the word nigger. Black girl, light-skinned and nigger. The boys like me, they like light, mellow skin tones. It is a light-skinned girl, all the boys want a bone. And although I think it is a sin for you to walk me through the delusion in my skin, light-skinned niggas are in. And to the dark skin, they say tar baby, yes, tar baby, charcoal black baby, African booty scratching baby, it's anything but black. Yes, I said anything but black. Big lip, big nose, nappy hair, these are the only things that make us black. Yes, these are the only things that make us black. See, they say they didn't want me to be a white girl, but I done peeped their game. Red bone, caramel cream, light skin, bright skin, yes, anything but black. Yes, I said anything but black. And I listen as the women brag. I've got white, my family, my whole family light skin. And the classic, I'm part Indian. Yes, anything but black. Yes, I said anything but black. I never heard black folks claim they part African or say my great-great-grandmama was Ghanaian. Still, the sun used to tell me you might turn dark brown, baby, and ruin that creamy brown complexion. But to be color-struck was taught to me to be an obsession. But being a light-skinned nigga ain't shit to me, because when the cops pull me over, a nigga is all they see. There will be no hey, honey brown, caramel cream, light skin, bright skin. I'm not going to give you a ticket this time because your skin is polluted with my kind, and I feel some kind of karmic connection. Objection! Nigga, get the fuck out the car and don't move too fast and blow off your ass. So understand this outside and misfits of black projects, and this outside and misfits of the black middle class, and this outside and misfits of the black bourgeoisie. Then a light-skinned nigga ain't shit.
May I ask your name and where you're from, and what are you contributing here tonight?
My name is Bishop Yvette Flunder, and I am the pastor of City of Refuge United Church of Christ, now in Oakland, California, at 8400 Enterprise Way.
Wonderful. And tell me, what does this event, Generations for LTGB Community tonight, what does this mean to you? And what do you think this means to, how does it feel for you to be here?
It's wonderfully freeing, liberating to be in a room full of free LGBT people. And I am praying that not only do we gather around social issues and around our own socialization, but that we really take up the causes that we need to take up to free our people. Our women are still not free. Our equality around education, access to medical care, access to housing, access to green food in our fast food neighborhoods, and certainly to give succor and help and support to our sisters and brothers on the continent of Africa. None of us are free until all of us are free.
What steps do you think individuals can take? Because those are tall orders, and we know that we have to confront those, and we know that we're dealing with them on a personal level, on a community level, on a national level, international level. So what can an individual do this very moment If you were to share some insight on how they can make a difference for themselves and for our brothers and sisters.
Well, change always comes with a few determined people. And we can access our State Department with letters, and we can say to them that we need to stop giving help and assistance to governments that abuse LGBT people. That money talks.
Sure.
Money talks, and I think it's really important to let people know there is a consequence. We need to let people know that all black bodies matter, and we will stand in the way of people being helped and being aggrandized by our country if they're going to abuse our people.
And where are you personally, based on the freedoms that we have, your own personal struggles, challenges, awakenings, based on the work that still has to be done? So where are you personally?
Well, I call myself a walking justice issue to some degree because I am a woman. I'm an African American. I'm a same-gender loving woman. I'm clergy. I'm a professor. I have a lot of different things, concomitant things, that to some degree seem like they don't get along with one another. But I have found that what is important is that I'm fully myself everywhere that I go, that I'm present. That's incredibly important. And I want to say to other brothers and sisters, it's time for us to be present. We need to show up with the whole package and help our people to be free.
And as a parent, what do you whisper to your children before bed and the first thing and when they awaken the next day? What do you share with them?
Oh, that's simple. I love you. I want my children to be secure in that. They can accomplish anything if they know that they're loved.
And your name, please, and where you're from?
I'm from San Francisco, California. I was born and raised there. But right now my church is in Oakland. And we have churches all over the country, all over Mexico, all over Asia. The Fellowship of Affirming Ministries is the larger body over which I am bishop. But I'm senior pastor of City of Refuge United Church of Christ in Oakland, California.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.
Your name, please, and where you're from?
Josefa Perez, and I'm from New York City.
Right on. And what were your contributions tonight at this amazing cultural event?
I was privileged, and it was an honor for me to be able to serve this community. I am an owner of Rainbow Grocery, and we had the privilege to sponsor this most incredible event, this groundbreaking event, this necessary event. It was spiritually enriching, it was nutritionally enriching, and my entire soul has been fed for weeks. We have been missing this. We have not connected. This community has not connected since we have been hit by that dreaded epidemic. And finally, I saw people here that I haven't seen in 40 years. 40 years, not since I was 18 years old, in the hood.
Wonderful. Wow.
And I've lived in this hood, in this neighborhood for 40 years.
Whew, wow. What is the importance of real food?
The importance of real food is, well, I mean, the Black Panthers told us that. The Black Panthers started out as a breakfast program. Their whole thing was, how can you educate your children if they're not nutritionally fed, if their brains aren't working correctly? And they started a breakfast program. And that's how the Black Panthers got started. So food is crucial. Without proper nutrition, we don't live, we don't thrive, we don't survive. We did survive with the slave food that they gave us because we're such an incredible, strong people. But now we are seeing the ravages of poor nutrition in our community. And, you know, it's just in this day and age of the internet, when the whole rest of the world is learning how important it is to eat right, it needs to happen in my community. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it happen in my community.
Wonderful, wonderful. What inspired you to start Rainbow Grocery?
Well, I didn't start it, but I've been there for 30 years. My husband's been there for 32 years. It was all about food. It was all about, we couldn't get organic broccoli. Everything that was out there was not food. It was killing people. At the time they came out with hydrogenated oils, they knew that you couldn't give it to a cow. If you were a farmer with a cow and served it hydrogenated oils, you lost your permit. But yet they put it in food that they served to children. And so we knew then, we didn't make money working at Rainbow, but we certainly got to bring home organic broccoli, which I was able to serve here all night. We certainly got to bring home organic cauliflower, which I was able to serve here all night. We got to bring home organic red peppers, which is important for men. That's why I made sure I had as much red stuff here, because lycopene is very important for prostate care. And I got to serve that here to my population. And I have been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not tired. I am so infused, because finally this is what my business is about, providing to the community. And when you give, you get back. Every time you give one thing, you get back 7 times.
Well, right on. That's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
You're beautiful. And,
well, thank you.
And thank you so much for your insight and your passion. And what is your personal guiding light?
My personal guiding light literally is love. My personal guiding light is love. Love of myself, love of my community, love of the city, love of African people. That's my guiding light, knowing that we survived the Middle Passage, so we damn sure should be able to survive this, what's going on. So, and I know we will.
Okay, and your name, please, and where you're from.
Josefa Perez. I was born in Dallas, Texas, raised in New York City, and landed here in San Francisco when I was 18.
What is there in the world besides our love to keep us here? Ambition's course is paved with hopes deferred, with doubt and fear. Wealth brings no joy, and brazen-throated fame leaves us at last. Not but an empty name, O soul, receive the truth, ere heaven sends their call. Not here deserves our thoughts but love, for love is all.